Hello students, and welcome back to yet another class in our alternative English. Today we will be doing the poem The Soul's Prayer. Now, The Soul's Prayer is written by Sarojini Naidu. Sarojini Naidu is an Indian, and she is one of the first Indians to write poetry in an English language. However, most of her works have got an Indian background, and her works have got an Indian soul in it. She talks about Indian people or perhaps things which happen in India. Now, Sarojini Naidu was not only a poet, she also took part in politics, and she was known as the Nightingale of India. Sarojini's birthday is celebrated as Women's Day. In the poem The Soul's Prayer, she talks about life and death. The main theme of the poem is life and death, and The Soul's Prayer is a mystical poem. When we use the word mystical, we mean something pertaining to the soul or to the spirit. Now, the poem is in 7 stanzas. Each stanza has 4 lines. In the first 3 stanzas, the poet, as a child, speaks to God. The prayer is to God. And in the next 4 lines, God answers the child's prayer. Now let's see what this poem is about. In stanza 1, if you can look at the board, in stanza 1, it says that the child addresses God as thee. In childhood pride, I said to thee. Thee means God. She's talking to God. And she's telling God in her prayer, she's telling God that you made me. Out of your breath, you made me. Therefore, I am built, or I am made, or I am created in your image. And she wants God, or she wants her master to speak to her, to tell her, to reveal to her. Now when I say to reveal to her, she wants to be taught. She wants God to teach her, or she wants God to show her something. And what is it that she wants to learn? She wants to learn the laws of life and death. Now when we talk about life, how you are born. And when we talk about death, now death is something that none of us can comprehend, none of us can understand. Life we can see, but death we can't see, because once a person dies, that person is buried, and what happens after death, no one knows. So there is always a fear, there is always a misunderstanding perhaps about death. And this little girl, even though she is a child, she's not afraid to ask these questions, and she wants to understand what life and death mean in this context. In the second stanza, she is requesting to be given joy and pain. Even though she is a child, she says she wants to feel, she wants to experience every sort of joy or pain that she can have in her life, every sort of happiness or sorrow. Now, normally we will ask for joy or we will ask for happiness. Nobody would like to ask for sorrow, but she wants to experience it. She wants to experience this joy and sorrow, which she says only His hand can give. If God wants you to be happy, you can be happy. And if He wants to bring sadness into your life, then He will bring it. And it's not only man who can do it, it is God who can do it. But God will also give you the courage to bear up. So she wants God to give her whatever pain or sorrow He can give her. She wants to experience all this. And then she says, for my insatiate soul would drain earth's utmost bitter, utmost sweet. Insatiate soul, a soul that is not satisfied. Now, some people have cravings, some people have desires which are not satisfied. So their cravings are insatiate, cannot be satisfied. They want more and more. So her soul, which is an innocent soul of a child, it is not yet satisfied because she has not yet experienced any pain or suffering. Maybe her childhood was a happy childhood. So she says, I want to experience everything that you can give me, she says, not only the happiness, but even bitter, utmost sweet, even if it is bitter experiences, this little child wants to experience. In stanza 3, she says, spare me no bliss, no pang of strife. Spare. Don't spare me. Don't keep away from me. If you think that I can perhaps enjoy it, give it to me. But don't just keep it away from me because I'm a child. And no bliss. Bliss is perfect happiness. So she doesn't want only perfect happiness to be kept away from her. She also wants strife, unhappiness, painful emotions. Don't keep them away from me. Withhold no gift or grief I crave. Crave is a desire. When you crave, you long to have something. You long for perhaps to have a beautiful home. Or maybe you long to have good food. You long to have good friends. So you crave, you desire. So she says, don't keep any gift, whether it's gift of grief or whether it's a gift of happiness, which she wants. Don't withhold it. Don't stop her from experiencing it. The intricate law of life and of love and life. Intricate, complicated. Life is very, very complicated because we do not know what will happen tomorrow. So whatever we experience, we experience. But what is going to come, we do not know. So life is very, very intricate. It's very complicated. And love is knowledge over here. So even knowledge, sometimes we may not understand what is happening to us. Sometimes we may question what is happening to us. So she wants to know all about this. And mystic knowledge of the grave. Mystic, something which deals with your spiritual soul or the spirit. Now the spirit is something which is unseen. The soul is something which is unseen. And normally when a person dies, what happens? We say that the soul leaves the body. The body is dead. The body goes into the grave, into the ground. Your body will turn into dust. It's of no value. But your soul lives on. Your soul is the life. That life lives on. And that soul will one day come before the master and will be judged. So she wants to actually know what happens in death. Because when somebody dies, up to the day that you're living, no one has ever come back from the dead to tell you what happens after death. So people are curious. And since nobody knows what it actually happens after death, people are afraid of death. So she wants to know. She wants to know about the grave. She wants to know about death. She wants to know what will happen to her soul or her spirit after she dies, or perhaps after someone dies. And these are the questions that as a child, she's not afraid to ask. She's asking the God. She's asking her Creator. So we see that in the first 3 stanzas, the poet is asking in a form of a prayer certain questions, and she wants these questions to be answered. In the next 4 stanzas, we will see how God responds or answers to her prayer. Now, like I said, in the next 4 stanzas, God answers the child and her prayer. She says, Lord, thou didst answer stern and low. So God has answered the child's prayer, and stern in a serious way. But he has given her an answer. And he says, Child, I will hearken to thy prayer. I will listen to your prayer. I will pay attention to what you are saying, and I will give you back an answer. And thy unconquered soul shall know all passionate rapture and despair. Unconquered soul. As a child, her soul is pure. She perhaps is a very young child and she's not able to know the difference between right and wrong. So therefore her soul is unconquered. She has got nothing bad in her soul. She's an innocent little child. And he says this innocent soul will now know everything what you ask for. All passionate rapture and despair. Rapture when you have complete loss of hope, and despair when you have despair, complete loss of hope. And when you have rapture, rapture would be great happiness. So your soul will now experience not only happiness but also despair. You will know the difference between these things. You shall also drink deep of joy and fame. One day you will become famous and you will know joy. You will experience joy in your life. This you will experience, he tells her. And love shall burn thee like a fire. Now fire is normally meant to cleanse something. When you put something into fire, impurities are destroyed. So he says that you also, your love, he says your love will be clean, it will be purified through fire. Now you will notice that even when we want to cleanse something, we burn it. And when you look at things being put into fire, or even when you have a brick, and when we want that brick to be seasoned, we put it into the fire and we burn it. Now when we burn it, that brick will become stronger. So in the same way, this child, the flame, this child's life, this child's soul, this child's longing will pass through this flame, and in this flame she will be cleansed of anything wrong or anything which is undesirable in her life. To purge the dross from thy desire, purge, to clean. Now sometimes when you want to clean your stomach, we take a tablet, and when you take a tablet, you purge out the dirt from your stomach becomes clean. So you're purging, you're cleaning your stomach, or you're cleaning perhaps your intestines of the impurities, of the things which shouldn't be there, and the next morning you find that you will feel much better. So he's going to use a flame, he's going to use fire, and this is his love for her in the form of a fire, but it's his love for her. And whatever impurities, whatever things which should not be in her life, he will remove it. Or perhaps even the desires, if the desires are not good, because many a times we desire something, man proposes, we want something, but if God feels that what we are asking, what we are desiring is not going to do us good, is going to do us more harm, he will not give you that desire. So he says that whatever she desires, if there is anything wrong, if there is anything bad, if there is anything hindering her soul to be clean, he will help to take it away. So that thy chastened spirit yearn to seek from its blind prayer release. Now, he calls her prayer blind. Perhaps she is a child, and perhaps she is asking for more than what she can actually take or experience. So sometimes also we ask for more than what we can handle, than what we can experience. Then in that case, God will put a stop to it, and he will not give it to us 100%. So he says you're chastened. Chastened is a person who has been corrected, who accepts correction, feels ashamed perhaps for what they have done wrong, and they are happy that they have been forgiven, and then they turn into a new life. Or the spirit now becomes a clean spirit, a clean soul, a clean living being, and now she's happy that she has been cleansed. And spent and pardoned, soothed to learn. Spent, perhaps by now she's tired. Sometimes we are tired. And pardoned, we have been forgiven. So now, since she has been forgiven, she feels that she is happy and she is ready to learn. Now that's important. When we make a mistake, And when we are forgiven, we realize that what we have done is wrong, then we need to try and change ourselves, become a new person, become a new being, have new habits, have new thoughts. So now he says that Sue to learn. She is ready to learn. She pleads or she begs, give me that chance to learn. The simple secret of my peace. God will always give peace to us. He will always give blessing to us. And in spite of us making mistakes, in spite of us going wrong, He will still forgive us and send us His peace. You will still be able to live in peace no matter what you have done wrong, but provided that you repent, provided that we are sorry, and provided that we are ready to start a new life or to make a new beginning. I over here is the God, bending from my sevenfold height. Sevenfold height tells us that God is way above us. We are on the earth, we can't see Him, but we can experience His love. We can experience His presence. And He says bending over here is humility. When you talk to a child who is very, very small, we need to bend down to that child, to come to the level of that child, perhaps to meet that child face to face, eye to eye contact. Now, here He shows that God is willing to come down to the level of that child and make that child understand. So, humility in God's nature. So He's willing to bend down, He's willing to come down right up to our level, to our understanding, and He's willing to teach us. Will teach thee of my quickening grace. Quickening grace, God is ever ready to forgive us, to pardon us if we approach Him and say we are sorry. But when we say we are sorry, we need to mean it. We need to try and make a change. However hard it may be, we need to make a change. And if we are able to do that, then God will teach us. He will show us. We will experience His grace. We will experience His love. We will experience His blessing. Life is a prism of my face. Prism. Prism is a thing which allows light. When a ray of light, white light, goes through a prism, it splits up into 7 colors. So therefore, he says that my life is like, your life is like a prism of my light. Means you will see life in different ways, in different colors, in different aspects. You will find joy, you will find happiness, you will find sorrow, but above all, you will know that I am there with you, and you will have that strength to live your life. And death, the shadow of my face, depending on the life that we have led. When we die, it's only in death that we will come face to face with the Master. It's only when we die we will be able to see the Master's face. So here we have this poem talking specifically about life and death, and from a child's point of view, she wants to know what happens when somebody is born or when someone dies. I hope you have understood the poem. If there's anything that you would like to ask me, please feel free to do so. Till then, take care and happy learning.